Hi, I'm Jennifer of CelticKnotCrochet.com, and today I'm going to show you some jewelry techniques, very basic, simple jewelry techniques that will help you finish your spring blossoms necklace. And I also use some of these techniques in other designs of mine. First, let me go over some of the supplies. You will need some eye pins, and if you're not sure what those are, they are a piece of wire with a small loop on the end. You can buy these in any craft store. These are about 2 inches long, which is the size you want to get. It gives you some room for threading beads on and working with the wire, especially if you're not accustomed to it. You also want to get some bicone beads. Now you don't have to use beads like this, you could just use round beads, but they shimmer really nicely, and they're called bicone because if you look on either side, it's a cone on this side and a cone on this side where the bottoms have been put together. And these are glass. These are rather large, but I wanted you to be able to see what I was doing. You might want to pick ones that are slightly smaller to go with the delicate lace motifs. And then you'll want to get some seed beads. It says how many in the pattern, but these are size 6/0. So they're not the super tiny seed beads that they sell. They're the next size up. And I like using these clear ones because they're a nice complement to the colored bicone beads. And then really essential to doing jewelry is to get some nice jewelry pliers. They are not expensive, often less than $10, and they have this nice round fine tip, but then they also have a place right here where you can cut wire. And sometimes it's just easier to get some pliers that only cut and make a nice clean cut right where you want it. So this is an optional piece of equipment, but I find it makes my life a lot easier. And then the last thing you will need is a chain. Now you can buy these chains at any craft store all ready to go. They have a clasp on them. They have a nice extender length, depending on who you give it to or how long you want to wear the necklace on a certain day. You can adjust the length. So I like this particular design. I found it at Hobby Lobby. I think it's by Metal Gallery. I think it's a really pretty elegant chain. And the first thing you want to do with this chain is find the middle, and I just hold the clasp in one hand and then pull the chain out, and then I kind of ballpark it, find the middle, and then I take my pliers. The ones that cut work the best, and I just cut the link that's right at the middle and take it off, and now my chain is in 2 pieces right at the middle, and you can set that to the side. Now in order to connect your pieces for the necklace, here are several put together. You don't use thread at all. You use these links that you're going to make out of the eye pins and the beads. And they work up pretty quickly, and then you can use them to make all kinds of variations with this project. So I'll show you how to thread on the beads. You take an eye pin and you take one of the seed beads, thread that on all the way to the loop, then take the bicone bead, thread that on, and then one more seed bead. So you have 3 beads on there. Then you take your pliers with the rounded nose and you grab it right there just above that last seed bead, and then you bend the wire at a 90-degree angle like that. Can you see that? But then you're going to keep your pliers right there, and by holding it firmly with one hand, you use the other hand to wrap the wire around the plier as far as you can go, and that creates another loop on the other side. And you can bend it over a little bit more and play around with it. And this is where you could use the cutter on these pliers, but it is even easier if you use this one. And I just cut off that excess. So now I have a loop on both sides of my connecting link. The loop it came with and the loop I made. And yes, mine's a little bit bigger, but when the necklace is all put together, you don't really notice it. So now that we have the eye pins all loaded up with beads, I think you have to make 5 of those for the design on the pattern. Then I open up each of the ends just slightly. The beads won't come off, but it allows me to attach this to the other motif pieces. So if you look carefully, you have the center motif, and the center motif has 3 petals up at the top, and then the next petal has a connecting link going to this small flower, and this petal over here also has a connecting link. And I just went right through the top of the first stitches on either side. And then I did the same thing on the small flowers. I attached it right here. This time I think I did it to the center of the petal. Then I skipped a petal, and on the next petal I attached the link here to the second stitch. And you might want to experiment depending on how big your flowers turned out. If you have looser tension, your flowers might be a little bigger than mine, so you might want to move your connecting link a little bit over. So a good way to test is to just hold it up like this and see how it hangs. And if you like how the flowers fall, then you're all set with where you put your connectors. Now on the bottom, I want to put my connector right in the center petal. And to check, there's going to be 3 on this side after the petal with this connector, and there's going to be 3 on this side after the petal with this connector. So that comes out right in the center. And I'm just going to take this connector and see if you can see what I do. Here's the edge with my stitches, and I just pull. Sometimes it's a little hard because the stiffener might get in the way, but I just push that loop through the top of the bottom stitch, and then I take the pliers and I bend the wire towards the straight piece like that to close it up. And this side is open so that I can attach the last flower. And if you look at the picture, you'll see that the last flower hangs by the center of the top petal. And sometimes you need to make sure that your eye pin is hanging in the right way so the petal doesn't hang funny. So you might have to adjust it, but it's easy to open the loops and replace it. And so I just did the same thing. I fed the metal loop through one of the stitches on the edge, and then I'm just going to use the pliers to close up that loop right here. And I do that same thing with every spot that they join. And like I said, you can lay it flat to see that it looks even, or you can hang it. And then the last step is to take these 2 outside joins, and here's my clasp of my necklace chain, and I just hold it out to the ends, and here's the loop on this connector, and I just put it right through like that, thread it through the chain and close up the loop, and then do the same thing on the other side. Now, one thing you might want to do is, if you go try it on and it hangs too low for you or for the person you're making it for, you can always shorten this part of the chain. Just cut more of it off. Cut it wherever you want, because the beauty of this chain is you can attach something anywhere along here. So you can just cut this off and attach it here, and that'll make the whole necklace shorter. But first try it on to make sure, because it can be deceiving. And there you have it, your Spring Blossoms necklace with sparkly beads. And these here are just Swarovski crystal gems. Again, you can find at any craft store, and you just have to buy special gem glue, and those dry overnight. I put those on last, and they add a really nice touch of sparkle in addition to the beads, and they're very lightweight, and I think they make the necklace look that much fancier. Please send your photos. I'd love to see what you make and what colors you choose. Thanks for watching, and happy crocheting.